I want to talk about something I learned recently in my personal life that I thought was just kind of mind blowing. And we work with a lot of agencies where sometimes the culture is just not on point. Lots of things can happen, missed expectations, a cancerous team member, just the feeling that things are off track and not working. Every agency I've worked with, a culture challenge has some slightly different symptom to it. So it's more of a gut feeling like, hey, things just don't feel super happy around here. I don't feel like we're communicating and working like a team. So one of the things I really want everyone to focus on is this idea, and it's different than the way I grew up. I grew up a good Irish Catholic girl where it's like, you did something wrong, you have to ask for forgiveness. You have to be forgiven. And so I always associate forgiveness with the other party. And what I learned is that forgiveness is for yourself. It's actually something a little bit more selfish, where you forgive the person to let it go. Reconciliation is more confronting parties. And the reason I thought that this was important to bring up is because if you have this stuff going on in the office, sometimes we just need to let it go and clear the air. Sometimes things have been kind of brewing for so long, whether it's she's always grumpy in the morning, or, I hate commercial download and I'm just going to be grumpy about it and I don't want to do it anymore and I think it's silly, or whether it's why do they come in the office and I'm not going in the office, whatever it is. Sometimes we just might need to take a moment, write it all down, say, hey, listen, I might not get what I'm looking for, but I'm ready to let it go, and I'm ready to either forgive myself or the other person. And I'm not looking for a huge reconciliation, which can also make you very vulnerable. So if there's something going on, some little twisted knot, maybe it's time for us to do our role, which there's always something you can control in the situation. Your role is, how do you move to a stage of forgiveness in an office? And how can you say, hey, if you're ready to do the reconciliation part, that takes two parties. But one of them is something you can control, make yourself happier. So if you've got any of that cultural strife going on in the organization, sit down, talk to yourself. Are you ready to forgive, or do you want to keep holding on to that? And some of the symptoms of that can be like, you're kind of snarky, you roll your eyes, everything that person does and says is a problem. And, honestly, it's going to hold you back in your career, and probably not something you feel super great about when you leave the meetings or you leave interactions. And so maybe it's time to take a different path. So if your agency has some of these symptoms we've described, we've got our agency assessment, which is a full physical of your agency, and we're happy to talk to you a little bit more about what that might look like. Have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.